What's up, people? This is Anthony Crawford coming at y'all with a little video on how to get a great tone out of your bass. So I get a lot of emails, and I've never really addressed this topic because I never really thought about it, because I do this so naturally and without even thinking about it. But a lot of people, I guess, like my tone and my EQ, and they want to know, EQ secrets, EQ tricks that I use or whatever. But here's the thing. My secret to EQ that I use for myself, and you can apply this to yourself as well, but I guess it's not really a secret because, number one, I don't even use EQ. I don't EQ my bass. 98% of the time, my bass is flat. My EQ is flat all the way around. My amp is flat and my bass is flat. No EQ. The reason why I do that is because, well, first of all, I got to give a shout out to my boy, Jackie Clark from Memphis, Tennessee, because he helped me onto this when I was young. And I'm glad that I figured this out when I was young. Because, little story, when I first started playing the bass, my tone used to suck, used to be terrible. I mean, when I plugged my bass in the amp, the first thing I did was just crank up the bass because, I'm playing the bass. So, the first thing I did, turn the bass up on 10, and I will be playing, and people will be like, man, your tone, I can't hear what you're doing. It's just a lot of muffled notes. My hands would be moving up and down the neck, but you couldn't hear anything because my tone was just so terrible. But Jackie Clark, like I said, from Memphis, Tennessee, he was one of the first bass players that I always said to myself when I was young, like, man, this dude bass sounds amazing. How does this bass sound like this? So I talked with him, a few times, and he pretty much told me, he was like, Anthony, one thing you need to do is start playing with your bass flat, no EQ. And he used to do that a lot too. No EQ, like even his head, he used to play through like David Eden and all that. Everything just used to be flat. His bass used to be flat, but his tone was amazing. And I figured out later on that 98% of his sound and his tone was coming straight from his hands. That's it. He wasn't relying on the kind of bass he was playing. He wasn't relying on the amps, because no matter what amp he was playing through, his tone was always big. He could be playing through $1,000 amps or $100 amp. His tone was always fat. I grew up with the concept after that, okay, I need to find my sound through my hands. So after years of experimenting, and I still experiment to this day, but I'm starting to get my sound, and like I said, what I do is when I pick up my bass, I don't even touch the EQ. The only time I may adjust my EQ is if I'm like in a club or a room or something, or a stadium or wherever, and I just want to adjust my bass to the environment, but 98% of the time, my bass is flat. Even when I did the Allen Holdsworth tour, European tour last year, my bass was flat. I think every show we did, I didn't have any EQ on my bass. I'm gonna give y'all a little demonstration of how much, just by moving your hands up and down the neck, that your tone can completely change. Check this out. So I'm about to hit this F on the E string. I'm about to start right here on the pickup. A lot of people play on the pickup. So here you go. So I'm about to move my hand down the neck and listen to how the bass tone completely changes with no EQ. Big difference. More rounder right here. You hear more string growl right here. You hear that? So just about moving your hand up and down the neck can completely change your sound. So a lot of bass players like to play in different positions. You know, me personally, I like to play right here, in between the pickups, because I like to kind of dig into my bass when I play. You know, a lot of people play on a pickup. A lot of people play on this pickup. A lot of people play right here. It depends on your style, what you're trying to go for. You know, there's no right or wrong way. You have to figure out what works for you, what works for your sound. But like I said, if you want to develop your sound, you know, your own signature sound or whatever the case may be, because everyone is different. Everyone has a different concept when it comes to creating music with this bass. Anthony Jackson, for one, you know, he's a legend bass player, played on thousands of albums. He's another prime example of someone that relies totally on his hands, because if you notice, Anthony Jackson has like a $20,000 Federa bass, and his bass doesn't even have any knobs on it whatsoever except the volume knob. That's it. His bass only has a volume knob on it, so he relies totally on his hands. Jaco Pastorius, everybody know Jaco's sound, you know, but the thing is, Jaco relied totally on his hands as well, because those Fender Jazzes back in the 70s, early 70s, I don't even think they were active basses. You know, I mean, let me know if I'm wrong or not, but those basses only had 2 volume knobs and a tone knob. You know, the pickup volume, the front pickup volume, the back pickup volume, and a tone. That's it. And Jaco's sound was like unlike no other bass player, because he relied totally on his hands and he developed his sound. Another thing about my sound, I have a soft touch. I don't play hard. I used to play hard, and I used to break strings like every week. I used to go through a new pack of strings because I played so hard. I used to play really hard, but I started to experiment with playing soft, and I noticed my sound completely changed when I started playing soft. That's cool too, but me personally, for what I'm doing, you know, in my bass technique or whatever, I prefer to play soft. And me playing soft compared to playing hard, that completely changed my sound. So just by how hard you hit your strings will determine a lot, you know, about your sound. And even when I slap soft. I don't slap hard. I slap soft. Practice on hand positioning, hand placements around your neck. I would say become one with your hands first, and practice getting your sound just by your hands, and everything else would just be a piece of cake. You know, everything else will be the icing on the cake, so to speak. You know, the pedals and all this stuff. So, and that's it. You know, so if you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment. Email me. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out my website, AnthonyCrawfordBand.com.
What are your thoughts in regards to hip-hop music?
Hip-hop, it allows you to be yourself.
So what it has done, it's brought the world together. It's the only music that's ever brought the whole world together. Hip-hop is jazz's great grandson. Hip-hop
in the category of jazz, because I think it's going to be accepted generally.
I can respect it, I appreciate it. You're an artist.
Music exposes your heart.
hip-hop. Hip-hop is jazz's great grandson.